What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I feel like today would be a good day and a good video to give you guys a review on I don't want to say controversial parts, but parts that some people may be hesitating on before even getting for their IS. And there are a few that do come to mind that I have installed on my car, where I do have some pros and cons that I can let you guys in on before you guys even purchase any of these or even install them yourself. First part that I want to start off with is actually the coilover setup that I got on the car. This is actually one of the most asked questions that I do have on the channel. And I do have the TN Advanced Z coilovers on the car currently. I've had them on the car for about 3 years now, and it has been really good to me so far. I haven't ran into any major issues, and I want to say the ride quality is actually really good on this car. So the only bad thing that I would have to say about the coilovers is when it comes to the install process. With the install process with these, you are going to have to use these stock top hats that come with the original shocks and springs. So if you don't have a compressor, you might want to have one ready, like ask a friend or go to like AutoZone or Riley's and borrow a spring compressor from them. And you should be able to do it no problem. Absolutely love them. If anything, I would just, lower the coilover just a little bit so I can have the car sit a little lower than it is right now. But that has nothing to do with the coilovers. If I had to suggest anything, getting the TN at Flex Z coilovers, in order to bypass having to remove the stock top hats, I would absolutely recommend either one if you are looking for a set of coilovers for the 2IS. So the next mod that I want to head to is actually going to be the rear diffuser on the car. And overall, I absolutely love this diffuser. I love the look of it. It looks aggressive, even though the car isn't aggressive. Like, it's not fast at all. It's just mainly for looks. The only bad thing I would have to say about this is the fitment is not 100%. Which is something that you should expect from any aftermarket part. Excuse the dirty car. This diffuser, everyone seems to have this one. They're a dime a dozen. There's a good chance that any fixed up IS in your area, specifically a 2IS, has this diffuser on. So that would be another con that I would like to say. There's nothing really bad about this diffuser at all. It's just that the fitment isn't 100%, and I don't think you can get it 100%. I tried to do it as best as I could. And I'm sure if you ask people who have this car and have this diffuser, they try to do it as best as they can as well. But there is really nothing you can do about manipulating it in order for it to be 100%. So when it comes to customizing your car and modding your car, everyone wants to be different. And it's hard when there's not a lot of options out there when it comes to like rear diffusers or rear lip options for this car. I was looking at an actual like rear lip that'll make it look a little bit lower, but it just wasn't the vibe that I was looking for. And after doing a little bit of digging, there are a good amount of options out there. It's just not a lot of people do use them. So don't be afraid to take the chance if no one has a diffuser or a rear lip that they offer for this car. Every time I see an IS, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but we happen to have like the same lip kits, the same diffuser, the same trunk spoiler. Like I said, it's not a bad thing. But when modding your car, the reason why you mod your car is to be different from everyone else on the road. That's just the biggest con and the biggest thing that I found with this diffuser. So next, we are going to move into the engine bay. The mod that we're going to be talking about is actually going to be this Megan. So the mod that we're going to be talking about right now is going to be the Megan Racing strut bar, as well as the F-Sport sway bar that I do have in the back of the car. So the install process for the strut bar is actually pretty basic. If it's something that you've never done before, any beginner or someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with cars can install this strut bar. Install process wasn't too bad. The only thing is that mine is angled, and if I switch it the other way, it hits the hood and I can't close it. So that's the reason why mine is angled that particular way. And with the sway bar in the back, this one is specifically made just for the 2IS. It's an F-Sport one, so you will get F-Sport colors. I don't know if you guys can see it, or I don't know how well I can show you guys, but it is underneath there. It is blue. So the reason why I decided to pair these two together is just because when I had just the Megan strut bar installed without the sway bar in the back, the difference was like night and day. When I had the strut bar up in the front, you can feel it, but it doesn't make a huge difference. And being that the IS is a very big car compared to, the BRZs, the S2000s, all of the two-door coupe cars, you're going to need more stability in your suspension in order to actually feel it in a big car like this. So if you are wanting to upgrade your suspension to make it more tighter around turns and curves and all that stuff, make sure you get both, or else you're not gonna really feel a difference if you only get one of them. I do actually suggest the strut bar and the sway bar, but if you actually wanna feel a difference in this car, make sure you get the combination of both the rear and the front. And last but not least, we will be talking about the Vlan headlights and the Vlan taillights. So before I get into the nitty gritty of this controversial, I don't want to say controversial, but something that people always hesitate on getting, let me go ahead and take the car downstairs so we can turn on the lights so we can see how it actually looks like instead of having it be in direct sunlight. I honestly hate how this garage is very well lit because there is no dark place to actually film this in this garage. So let's first start off with the taillights. The taillights I absolutely love. These are one of the more reliable parts that I have in the car. In addition to everything else, this is actually one of my most favorite looking ones. It does make the back look a little more aggressive, and this was actually one of the first parts I ever did for the car when I started the build. And I absolutely love it. I haven't had any major issues with it, knock on wood, and I absolutely love them. They do make it look more aggressive in the back. And I will turn on the taillights just so you guys can get a better look at them when they're on. So it does have the check mark similar to the 3IS in the back. So it has the side and it has the middle. So this one does light up when you brake, and this one just completely stays on. So that's absolutely sick, and I absolutely love it. It does come with a tinted option, so you don't have to get the full red one. You can get the tinted one. Personally, I do like the red one more. If you are hesitating on this one, I say go get it. Sometimes I can't take the front serious with looking at these damn teeth. I just think it's hella funny. I want to say one of the more, I don't want to say controversial, but one of the more hesitated mods that they offer for the 2IS is actually the Vlan headlights. And I do have mixed feelings about them. I'm honestly not 100% sold, and some of you may be surprised about that, but let me go ahead and turn on the headlights so you guys can see how it looks. So you do see the bulbs on. The check mark actually won't come on until you turn on the car. That's one feature that I don't want to say that's a big thing, but you can't really see the check unless the car is actually on. Light output is actually not the best. You know, comparing it to stock, these absolutely suck. If you're looking for a brighter looking headlight, I do not suggest this one just because the light output in this one is like, it's pretty dog compared to the stock headlights. And it's not a knock or anything, but honestly, when you have aftermarket parts, that's kind of what you should expect, to be honest. Honestly, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love these headlights. It just doesn't do the trick when I'm driving at night, or if I'm trying to go somewhere and I'm trying to like high beam someone to tell them to go at a stop sign or something like that. It just hasn't been it for me. Like if I'm comparing it to stock, obviously these stock headlights are more superior when it comes to light output. Stock beats this one 10 out of 10 every day of the week. But when it comes to looks, I absolutely love how it looks like. And I'll show you guys how it looks like when I turn on the car, just so you guys kind of have a better idea of what it looks like before you guys even buy it. Obviously it looks more updated compared to how the stock ones look like, but is sacrificing the light output for something that looks cool worth it in the end? Honestly, that's something you have to ask yourself if you're someone who doesn't really drive this car at night, or if you just plan to use it as a show car. These are definitely a good option, but if you're gonna be driving at night for the most part with this car, I don't know, having these headlights with minimal light output maybe might not be the best option. So with the car on, with the headlights not on, that's how it looks like with the check mark. I think it's actually pretty bright, and it actually looks pretty good, especially when the sun is going down, where you don't have to turn on the headlights just yet. But additional, when you have all the lights on, you have the check mark going on, as well as the low beam headlights, you know, that's how it looks like. Looks a lot more updated, and like I said, the light output is not the best, but that's kind of the glance that you'll see if you do get these headlights. Alright y'all, so that's just my input on what I think of on a handful of the parts that I feel like people hesitate a lot with this 2IS. You know, some people's experience may be different than mine, but that's just something that I've experienced, and those are the mods that I feel like people question themselves a lot, like, do I get it? Is it worth it? Will I enjoy it, or will I just regret buying it in the future? And if you guys found this video helpful, definitely give this video a big thumbs up, and if you guys aren't already, subscribe to the channel down below. We will be seeing a lot more of this car on the channel in the future, so definitely subscribe if you guys aren't already. But until the next video, I'll see you guys in the next one.